What's good, YouTube? Katana here. Now, we got another build video today. It's going to be my STAMDK. So let's get into it. Now, the stats unbuffed may seem underwhelming, but trust me, fully buffed, it goes crazy. The build goes crazy. Now, this build, honestly, I'm going to be truthful with you guys. In a one-on-one situation, it's going to take a bit of skill to actually pull off. Now, in open world, it's great. It's OP. You will be bursting down players like it's no tomorrow if you play it correctly. So, I have 64 points into stamina. And yes, I'm an Argonian because my STAMDK is also my mag DK. So, I use a hybrid race for DK, which normally a lot of people do. And by hybrid race, I mean a race that could utilize Stam and Mag, and you can swap between both. So basically a Dark Elf, a Khajiit, and Argonian. Those are typically the hybrid races. Could you do it with other races as well? Yes, but I would say those are like the main hybrid races are those three. So the boon we're using is Warrior. Now, if you were to pick a different race, I am going to be honest, you'd have to probably change how you have these set up. You might not be able to have 64 points into stamina. You might have to take it a little bit from here to put into here. But again, up to you and what your character sheet looks like and what you're comfortable with. Now, the food I prefer to use with this build is our TM takeaway broth for that max health, the health recovery, and that max stam and stam recovery. Now, you could easily use sugar skulls just because it gives you a lot more max health, and it gives you a decent amount of health recovery. You know, 406 to 462, it may not seem like a big health recovery jump, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it may be the difference between like 900 health recovery versus 1,000 health recovery. Now, the other food you could use is Lava Foot. Again, these foods is up to you whether or not, like, your race and your preferences. Pots that I prefer to use, tripods, because across the board on all my builds, I prefer tripods. Now, I will recommend if you're trying to min-max the build, and you are an Argonian, use the pots that give weapon crit. Those are pretty good. But weapon crit with some other stuff, you know, probably that it gives you some health back too and things like that. Now, front bar set, Briarheart. Briarheart is very, very good this patch. It is Nern, and the enchant is shock damage enchant, just like most of my builds for that minor vulnerability. Honestly, most of the time I have these poisons on just to waste them because they're from my daily rewards. But if you really want to min-max the build, quote unquote, you put on some decent poisons on your back bar and just have that minor vulnerability enchant going crazy on your front bar. Now, your back bar sets is Potentates, so that sorting board Potentates, and it's going to be powered and sturdy. The enchants are up to you, but again, if you want a better enchant for your back bar, so that one-hander, you could probably put it to disease, something like that. And this enchant, depending on or not like how you sustain your mag, you could change that to a mag enchant. But again, I use this sorting board universally for all my guys, so I just have it max stam. Monster, Bloodspawn. Now, I know Bloodspawn got nerfed last patch, but this patch it got buffed up again a little bit. So it is completely up to you whether or not you want to use it. It is not as useless as it was last patch. It is actually usable this patch. Now, if you want to have some more sustaining heals, just throw an EG. But if you want to have a lot more damage, you could use Balorg. So when you ult, I know I don't have a piece of Balorg with me. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't. But Balorg, basically when you ult, you're going to get more weapon damage and penetration depending on how much ultimate you use. And then if you just want raw, weapon damage, You could just put one. You can just put 1/1, which I mean by that you put one piece Kina, one piece Veli, because the first item piece of it gives weapon damage. So that's Kina, Veli, Veladreth, and Balorg that does that. So that's what I mean by that. 1/1. So you put it on the head and the shoulder. Now the second set is Fury. So this is what I'm saying, that the stat sheet looks underwhelming unbuffed, but most of the time you're going to have over 5k weapon damage. Because honestly, these sets are up pretty easily and frequently, especially in outnumbered situations, which is why I was saying in a one-on-one situation, like specifically a duel, it's going to take more skill, because you're going to have to actually try to survive to get your Fury up at least a decent amount. And then if someone doesn't, press you enough, Fury isn't going to be up enough, but you can most definitely survive enough to proc up Fury in a duel. That's what I was saying. In a duel, it may be harder for you, but open world, it would be pretty easy. For traits on the body, now again, you could easily just run full impen. If I had all the crystals in the world, I would have my big pieces well fitted and my small pieces sturdy. But again, your boy don't got no crystals, so it is what it is, what I have. So again, the enchants that I have on the body, depending on your race, these might vary. I have triglyphs. If, say for example, for whatever reason you're wood elf on your STAMDK, because that's what floats your boat, you might want a max health glyph on like maybe one or two of the big pieces. Now the jewelry is all infused weapon damage, and again, I'm gonna put this out there now. I know this isn't transmuted or has a weapon damage enchant, but reason being is, again, your boy has no crystals. And so I can't infuse, it's not infused. My other one that I typically use, I have no idea where I lost that purple ring. So there is that. So I've been using healthy with health recovery, and I've actually still been doing completely fine in the damage department. So, take it as you will. That's how much damage this build actually has. And so that means, let me also cover this. That means my health recovery will look a little bit lower, and my max health will probably be something around 19k. So honestly, it's not going to be a huge difference in the max health and health recovery department, but it is what it is. Now skills, these are what I prefer to use. Now honestly, I just have Riley as a morph and not forward momentum. I recommend forward momentum if you feel comfortable with it. I have Riley just because prior to this build I was testing out other builds and I didn't have Cauterize on my bar because I couldn't fit it on my bar, so I had this as, a burst heal, a better burst heal, instead of having just only vigor basically healing me. So these are my abilities on my front bar: Noxious Breath, Camouflage Hunter to help with that weapon critical rating to be increased, for that Briarheart to be procced more, Rally, D-Swing, Executioner, Take Flight. Now your back bar ultimate is a flex bot. You could put Temporal Guard. I don't have the other ultimates unlocked, but the other ultimates I would recommend is either the Sword and Board ult or what is this called? I believe Cauterize. No. What is this called? Corrosive. Corrosive would be the other ult. Now the other skills I use: Fragmented Shield, Volatile Armor because I like the dot, Elude because of the speed, Vigor, Cauterize. Now again, if you're trying to min-max, obviously get your Undaunted up, and on top of that, get your Alchemy up so you can get medicinal use. It's very easy to level up Alchemy. I'm just lazy. I don't want to use my Alchemy mats on leveling up my guys' Alchemy, so I just don't do it. I don't care enough, truthfully. And now CP. So you could pause at any time you want. And this is the difference between If you haven't seen my other build videos, typically I don't put points into blessed, but I did with this build, purely for the fact that, say if Fury and Briarheart aren't up for whatever reason, I still have ridiculous heals when they're not up. And on top of that, I'm an Argonian, so I'll always have that additional burst heal. So this is just for increased healing. And then again, depending, your red tree will look different depending on the traits of your gear. Now, this is what I have it at because I have 2-piece impen, my resistant. So if you have full impen, that's going to go a lot lower, and you can put it in places like Ironclad up to 23%, or you could put it a little bit into thick skin to get it to 19%, or you can get it into quick recovery just to get it up a little bit higher. So it's all up to you in preference. Let me go back just so you guys can pause it at whatever time. And there's that. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to proc my damage as much as I can, as high up as I can. Look, Briarheart already procced, and that was just a light attack. This thing isn't attacking me. So I'm going to show you guys the weapon damage the best as I can, fully buffed. Yep. Keep going. Now, if you don't know what the Fury buff looks like, it's that little stack thing that's going up to 20. Okay. 5.5 weapon damage, right? So that's very, very good. And that's me using blood spawn, and also not having it all infused weapon damage jewelry. So you can imagine how much weapon damage this build actually has. And honestly, because I'm an Argonian, I have a lot of sustain. I know my stam recovery doesn't look too crazy, but trust me, because I'm an Argonian, I have a lot of sustain, and it is pretty easy, especially with my CP setup, to sustain, because that tenacity really helps out a lot every time when you're heavy attacking. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.